Hello and welcome to Conversion Express, where in 15 minutes or less, you are going to learn a strategy that you can apply to your website within minutes to help convert more visitors into leads. And these are going to be bite-sized, simple, and doable strategies. So let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is how to easily use voice of customer data to lower your prospects' defenses. Because I can tell you that people are coming to your website. They already have their defenses up. They are not open to giving you money or open to giving you their email and signing up for stuff like that. Okay. So the job of your website is to try and overcome some of that friction. So specifically, what is voice of customer data? These are words and phrases that your clients and prospects are using to describe specific things for the purposes of your website. We're going to talk about three things. One is, how are they describing their problem? How are they describing something that they want? So it's an outcome, it's a result, it's a transformation that they're looking for. And how are they describing their experience with your business and your services? Okay. So why use voice of customer? This is important because it can get you some really, really great results. So, for example, these are some results that have been achieved simply by changing the copy by using voice of customer. So, time increase on page, a 918% increase, which is very significant. That signals to search engines that your website or that particular page is valuable. So, it's going to help with the search engine results that you're getting. Same thing with lowering the exit rate by 37%. That's another signal, positive signal to search engines. Increasing leads by 400%. That is what you're looking for. You want to increase leads. I want to increase leads. That's what we all want, right? And paid conversions by 49%. So these are the benefits. But the reason it's so important is because voice of customer it's already things that it's in their hearts and in their minds about how they feel about their problem, how they feel about the transformation they're seeking. And when you can use those kinds of words or even direct quotes from what things that people have said, that's how you start getting conversion worthy copy. That's how you start getting more leads. So I'm going to give you some examples here. So this is an example of using voice of customer for Carrie Alves Art Academy. And this was their original header. And all we see is it's all things portraiture. It's not really compelling. We know that the website has something to do with portraiture. We don't know, is she selling lessons? Is she selling artwork? Is she for hire to do your portrait? What exactly is it? So after interviewing 10 of her students, one common theme that came up over and over was how impressed family members and friends were with their artwork. It just blew them away to the point where when people would come to the home, family members would actually say, "Hey, come on, I want to show you. Look at what my mom did. Look at my wife did." And so they would display these beautiful works of art on the walls of their home and hang them. Literally, they were hanging them where people could see them. And like I said, people were blown away. So this common transformation then made its way to the headline of their homepage. Create portraits so impressive, family members were hang them where everyone can see them and argue over who gets to keep them. And then we also included the name of the student, the kind of artwork she did, and the fact she's a stay-at-home mom. And we put a picture of that student with her artwork directly on the home page. So now it's a lot more obvious what it is. Now, this is another example with Connection Yoga Therapy. So this was their initial home page, which you can sell. It just basically says, "Welcome to Connection Yoga Therapy." But then after talking to Bobby, who is the founder of Connection Yoga Therapy, as well as some of her clients, there was another very common theme. So people were turning to yoga therapy when they had tried other traditional methods and were not getting the results they wanted. They still had ongoing pain. They were still taking a lot of pain medication. They were still struggling to get through each day of their life. And so having that information helped write the headline. I knew after talking to people, they wanted to move better with less to no pain medication. And that she works with, and people who were coming to her were people who they were injured, they were older, they were aged, they have chronic pain, and they haven't received relief through traditional therapies. So that kind of knowledge helped to write the header for this homepage. Now, this one, I want to show you an example where you can actually take a quote, a direct quote from something someone has said, and describe right here. This is a very specific moment that some people would experience when they're an entrepreneur. And this was a sales page for a business coach who helps people to actually get more sales and run a better business. And this is a moment that is common with people who are married. They're looking at bank statements with their spouse, and they expecting their spouse to say, it's time for you to get a real job because the business hasn't been making any money. But this time they say, I've never seen you make this much money. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So this is another example, being able to get voice of customer data to help you write your copy. And this one here was a sales page for a course launch, where after speaking to the founders and looking through dozens of surveys, this was specific language that people were describing, a specific situation where they're feeling left out of Swedish conversations, and they get embarrassed when they're with their Swedish speaking friends. Everybody else can speak Swedish well except them. And then when they join a group, the group switches to English for their benefit, and that would embarrass them. So that's a real specific moment that I couldn't have captured any other way if I had not looked at the kind of clients that they were helping. But the problem with that you are going to deal with, you're a business owner who has got so many hats that you're wearing. You don't have time to go through surveys. You don't have time to interview all these people. So how can you capture voice of customer as quickly as possible? So I'm going to show you one way you could do this. Okay. So first of all, you should be recording your discovery calls at minimum. Any kind of discovery call that you're having, you should be recording it and getting a transcript with that recording. Okay, that's what I want you to do. You're going, because it's something you're already doing anyway, it's part of your process, just record the call and then you get a transcript, and you haven't needed to do any extra work at this point, okay? I want you to then take that transcript and upload it to Claude. Claude is an AI, like very similar to ChatGPT. But there's a specific reason I'm suggesting you use Claude, strongly suggesting you use Claude. Okay, so you're going to upload that transcript to Claude, and you're going to prompt Claude with something very specific. Like that, you can use something like this. This was a prompt that I used. Using the transcript below, please highlight phrases Kathy's using to describe the problems her clients have and the outcomes or transformations her clients want to achieve. And I want to emphasize one thing here. Do not ask Claude to summarize at this point. Ask Claude to highlight phrases. Okay, we're looking for direct quotes here. And this is what Claude did. It generated quotes, took the quotes out completely, put them in quotes, and it didn't change any of the phrasing. I didn't want it to, and it didn't. It also separated it for me from problems and then outcomes and transformations. And it also provided a summary of what it identified what Kathy does. Now, the reason I'm suggesting use Claude instead of ChatGPT is because when I tried the same exercise with ChatGPT, it had a difficult time distinguishing between when I spoke and when Kathy spoke. I'm not sure why, even though it would say Kathy and then it has whatever Kathy said and Sandra and whatever Sandra says. So it just gave me something similar, but it didn't make a distinction. And so there was stuff that I was saying that made its way to the summary. So using Claude, you can just eliminate that step. You don't even then you don't have to go through the what Claude generates to see, did Kathy or did my client say this or did I say it? Is there, it seemed to work very much better than using ChatGPT. And it generated some more stuff as well. When I asked Claude, prompted it further and saying, did you capture anything? It gave me some other things. Then I took it a step further, because maybe you've got quotes and maybe it's not, there's nothing there that's a real gem that you really think you could use as a headline or anything like that. So you want to kind of get a summary of what the common problems or outcomes or transformations, things like that. Okay. So I prompted Claude specifically with this prompt. Using the above information you provided, what are the common problems her clients have and the common outcomes and transformations they're looking for? And after using that, it gave me this, which is exactly what I wanted. It gave me 10 things. Here's a summary of the most common problems, outcomes, solutions, whatever that they're looking for. And what I found, now I did not, when I wrote the page, I did not use Claude at the time because I didn't even know Claude existed. This was done at the beginning of the year that I had worked on this particular homepage. And so I did it, would have done it a different way. However, what Claude did do was there was a common thing here, people wanting to fulfill a long-held dream to write a book. They wanted to feel good about it, about their writing. They wanted to avoid regrets later in life. They really wanted to complete a book. And then you can tell here, it summarized that Kathy helps aspiring authors, particularly those midlife and beyond, overcome obstacles and fulfill their writing ambitions. Okay. So this is what the headline I wrote as a result of understanding better what her clients' common problems were. Complete the book that's inside you. Fiction book coaching and writing circles for midlife women who are ready to listen to the soft voice calling them to write. And so, like, again, this came as a result of understanding there were midlife women. They were women who reached a certain stage in their life where they were ready to move on to the next thing. They'd been wanting to write a book for a long time. It was on their mind. It was on their bucket list. And so that was the headline that we came up with for this particular part. More of it got used throughout the homepage, but I just wanted to highlight the homepage. So here's the summary, and remember, to get voice of customer data quickly, always record at least your discovery call, upload the transcripts into Claude, prompt Claude to highlight phrases or to quote directly from the transcript of your client, the words that your client is using to describe their problem, how it makes them feel, the results they want, and then use those phrases in your headlines. And the reason I'm suggesting for you to just use it in your headlines, don't worry necessarily about body copy, like what is written below the headline, because at the very minimum, people are going to read headlines. And the headlines are what keep people reading. So those are the prime real estate portions on your website or any web page are your headlines, because they're going to be read. So that's all I have for you today. I hope to see you next week, and I'm going to include some links here for you to check out some other things. And you guys have a fantastic weekend.